Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're in Liverpool.
I wish.
We're in Monte Carlo, here in Monaco for the show this Saturday. I think it's called the Monaco Boxing Bonanza. Great name. With me I've got Paul Smith. How are you?
Not bad, mate. A bit tired. Early start this morning for this. We up at about 4. Went to bed at the airport and it was a 6:30 flight over here, but been relaxing all day really and getting to see the sights and see what it's about. It's some place, isn't it?
It's a cheap place, isn't it?
I'm telling you. I need more fights now just to pay for me dinner before.
Yeah, here obviously because Stephen's fighting for his second world title. Gets his shot against Jason SOSA. Seen a bit of SOSA. Been in with good company like Sir Nicholas Walters. Beat Javier Fortuna in his last fight to win that title. Is Stephen up against it in your opinion?
I think you'd have to believe that way in most world title fights you go in, but not literally believe it. You have to believe that the kid's going to be one of the best you fought or the best you fought, and overestimate him. You know, it's always better to overestimate someone than to underestimate them when you get in there. So you've got to make out in your own head that he's going to be a monster, but know that you're going to beat him and know that everything you've done is good enough, which Stephen is and he has done. He's trained brilliantly, he's been sparring great, he's right down on the weight, he's done everything perfectly, and he's in brilliant shape as he has been, and he's got that little bit of extra added experience now of what it takes to win a world title. Well, he fell short last time, and this time I believe he's got enough to push himself over the line.
I was going to ask that, could he use that defeat to Pedraza to sort of propel himself into obviously knowing exactly what he has to do in order to come home with that title? Yeah,
I believe so. No, not half. I think there's not many losses that you have where you can't use to benefit yourself. And you know, that one, it was a nip and tuck fight in the last one until the knockdown, and then Pedraza eased off a little bit with it. Sorry, he pulled away with it a bit. Stephen was in a very competitive fight up until the stoppage, so it's he's just got to try and use all the good points and the bad points from the fight.
Hang on, so it's back up with Paul Smith, who's moved along there. I don't know for what reason.
Tell him the truth.
Go on, you tell him.
Grazes on his elbows where the security guard and the dicky balls just come over and knock the fuck out of him.
Paul Smith found out that he tweeted him a bit of abuse last night, so he chucked it off the balcony.
Blocked him and then threw him off.
Blocked him and then, yeah. So, yeah, going back from what you're saying.
Yeah, I think he will use it as a positive with Pedraza. You know, he has to. He's learned a lot from that fight, obviously, and as bitterly disappointing as it was, you know, losing out on fighting for the world title, winning a world title, sorry, he's got a brilliant chance of winning it back. You know, in my opinion, it's a close fight, but it's one that I can see Stephen actually, you know, pulling away and actually doing this, and I've got every faith in him. He's 100% confident. He's trained brilliant, and as I said before, he's in great shape. And you know, if it's not now, it's never going to be. He knows what he's going to do, and he knows he's good enough to do that.
Well, I certainly hope he can do it. What's the situation with you at the moment?
I was going to say before you said to me watching Stephen, I'd be here no matter what, but I'm in a good position. I'm here actually working for Sky. They've asked me to come over. I was meant to be doing this before it was mentioned about Stephen possibly being on the bill, so it's a little bit of an added bonus, although I'm not sure what's going to happen when Stephen actually fights. You know, I can't commentate on Stephen, so I'm sure one of my colleagues will be doing that, and I'll be able to sit and relax and watch him and switch off. You know, imagine me commentating on Stephen. You know, what I'm going to say is it's a good right hand by Stephen or Smith, or you know, Smith's boxing shit tonight, or Smith needs to kick up the arse, or Smith's doing great, and you know, it's hard. I did it once on the Klitschko Chisora undercard when Stephen boxed, and I remember getting told off by the producer for clapping when he walked in the ring. He said after it, don't do that again. Don't ask me to do a job which I can't do professionally, which no one in the right mind to be able to do professionally, and then moan at me when I'm clapping. You know, I clap for other people when I commentate, I clap for a lot of people when I commentate. It's just a sporting thing to do, but it was too hard, so I couldn't do that again.
Do you know what? That reminds me of when I went to watch Gavin Rees versus Adrian Broner. Now, Gavin Rees is obviously not my brother, he's small and Welsh, but I was cheering for Gavin Rees.
It's not small, no.
What's that?
Not small,
I haven't seen him in a while, is he?
Bench press, you know.
I was cheering for Gavin Rees in the press row, right?
Yeah.
And someone come over to me and had a go at me about, like, not politely, they were going, "You can't cheer in press row, man."
You know what, though, with all due respect, I'm not offending you saying this, we in the boxing don't look at you as a journalist. You know, you're a TV man, you're a boxing fan, but you do your graft, you put your work in, but you're not. A journalist is a paper, for me, always has been, or a paper or a writer or a boxing writer. TV, it's not even, it's online stuff. That's it. You've cornered a niche in a market, which is brilliant and a great idea. And more people will see this than they will on telly half the time because of the access that we've all got. We've all got one of them. You know, everyone's got a phone, what they use and what they want to watch content on. And you've done it, and it's doesn't mean you're still not a fan and you haven't got mates in boxing, and it's hard because you want to shout for them and you want to clap or cheer for them, and I've done it myself when I've been working for Sky, but you have to be professional. You can't let it be seen that you're doing it, but they'll look at you still, and when you're off here, and you'll still give them a thumb up, or, you know, come on, or well done, or hard lines, and you can't help but get involved, can you? At the end of the day, you're on the circuit, and you're around them people all the time, and you get to know them, and you get to like them, and Gavin Rees is a lovely lad, and I'm sure you wanted them to do great, you know what I mean? So people like that, you have to just push them off.
No, but I see the main press rows usually is the papers at any fight, and I've seen some like really big wins for like Brits, and it's completely emotionless. I mean, that's probably very professional of them just to put their head in their laptop or whatever and sort of not react to it because it may look unprofessional. But I remember being in Carson when Kel won the world title, was going mental. I thought, well, you sit here and just, you know, but I don't know, maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, I don't know. But
each to their own. At the end of the day, they have no interest in, they've got no vested interest in that fight, though, have they, when they're watching it. You know Kellen, you've spoke to him a good few times, you like him, you like the lad, he's a nice kid, you want him to do well, and you've sort of gone along the journey with him of the camp when you've been interviewing him regularly, and when you've been over there sitting in the room with him interviewing him and all, so you sort of naturally feel close to the fighter, don't you, because he's the home fighter as well. And I see it all the time, a lot of people saying, you know, like Sky bias towards fighters, or other bias towards fighters, and I remember hearing Harry Carpenter do it with Bruno, go on son about with Frank Bruno, and it was great, just that one little bit of unprofessionalism just showed he was human and he was a normal fella who wanted to see his mate do well, but he tried to stay professional. But every single person in the country was sitting on the couch wanting the local lad to do well, because he said it. People were saying, you know, it stood out because it's not like the thing to do. And when you're commentating on a home fighter, we're there to showcase that home fighter, I believe, and to showcase boxing and to showcase the event and the show. But I think everyone sitting on the couch should, by rights, you know, want the home lad to win and want the British fighter to win and get behind their own. But the hardcore boxing fans will just want to see the better fighter win, and rightly so. And I just think sometimes you can't help being a bit drawn towards a certain fighter, if they're likeable and if they're good fighters, or if they're your own.
You get a little bit emotionally involved. You do, if you spend that much time around boxers, fighters, people, and people become, not calling best friends, but they become, you know,
your mates, aren't they? Exactly.
Friends, and that it's difficult. So if Stephen beats SOSA this week, I'm going to launch a chair into the ring.
You'd be throwing the chairs around the ring and then all your money on black in the casino, won't you?
Be all going off. And I heard whispers a little while ago of a link fight between you and CHAVEZ. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why that didn't happen?
It didn't happen, just money, just as most fights don't. You
Talk about the young one, not the old man, by the way.
Yeah, old man fighting the old one compared to the young one. But I've seen him on the bag recently, he's looking well, isn't he? They offered me the fight. It just didn't make sense money-wise. You know, we gave them they offered us an amount, we gave them another offer. Probably would have been happy to meet in the middle, but we never even got a second offer. They've got this other lad in, this Bridges, and he's gone in for a lot less money. So can't really compete with that. You know, it is what it is. Would have been nice. Mexico would have had to travel again, which doesn't bother me. But just back to the drawing board, back sitting waiting, you know, sitting biding my time and waiting for an opportunity, which will come. They always do, and you know, that one came. It was an opportunity. It wasn't right financially, so I didn't feel like I had to take a lot less than what it was worth. For 40 were often, it wasn't worth it to go over to Mexico.
Is it more about a big fight as opposed to a world title, or ideally somewhere in between?
That was the other end of the scale. I want a world title fight, and I'm willing to fight that world title fight for, you know, whatever it's worth, whatever it is, just to get a chance to win a world title. And on the other hand, there's a fight in Mexico against a big name, which will catapult everything right back up there for beating him for good money, but the money wasn't there, what they wanted to pay. I felt they had the money, so did my manager, so did Eddie, but he just wasn't willing to part with it because they could get someone in a lot cheaper and a lot less expensive. So they've done that. That's happening in December. But no, I'm in a gym now. I'm training all the time anyway, so I'll be ready when something comes up. And Joe's working behind the scenes with Eddie on getting me something, and I'm very confident in the both of them. You know, they're both very, very good at what they do.
So obviously with kind of dates and weeks running out, I'm assuming you won't fight till next year now.
I don't know. You know, if I can get on in December, I will. But the show's rammed. It's packed. I don't expect it just demand to get on it. But we'll have a chat. As I said, I mentioned to Joe, you know, I do want to stay active. But if there's a chance of a big fight for me in February, I'd rather not fight December. I'd rather just have a full 12, 13 week camp, which I haven't had for a while. I've just been ticking over, staying in the gym, getting a call for the 6 or 8 rounds, and going and doing it, and then doing another one. So a good full 12-week camp with a set goal at the end, with a title fight or a big, you know, 10 or 12 rounder at the end of it will be a lot better for me.
You know, Twitter will have a meltdown if you get another world title shot.
Honestly, I know. It's just it's comical, isn't it? It's like I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's because I've just given them it back in the past, or I've had a good go back, or you know, I said time and again, I'll be here all day talking about. You know, they see me as something more I don't believe I am, and they look at you like you're a celeb and you haven't got the right to tell them to go and fuck themselves. But I do, and they can't handle it, and I've gone through it all. You know, I phoned people's houses and found the addresses and the phone numbers and phoned them up. Me or a few of the lads have done it, and just to see the real person that's behind the fake Twitter account and all that. And it's a different story when you get them on the end of the phone and you tell them that you know where they live and all that. You know, and not that I would go around and do anything, but it's a totally different story. But they seem like it's gone like a daft little cult following of who's blocked and all that, and it just baffles me. I've had it in the past where I've had like stick off someone and I haven't blocked them, and then a month later they've been dead nice and being like, oh, well done on this or that or that, and I've replied thank you, cheers, and then I've looked back and I thought, you know, the tweet before it was slagging me off, and I thought, you two-faced bastard, so I should have just blocked you because you wouldn't have a chance to be nice then when you've been a dickhead previously. So I was talking about it a while ago. I just blocked it. They don't bother me. I just block them and I don't see it on my timeline. I don't go on Twitter to have arguments with people or sit and go through all kinds of tweets that I don't want to read. That's why I follow who I want to follow, and I barely read the comment section on mine. I just read who I'm following and what they're up to, and that's what I go on it for. And I've seen one, you know, you should interact with good people on there, and it's totally right, I should. There's a lot of good people in boxing. There's a lot of good, you know, boxing fans who want to interact with fighters, and I should do that a bit more. But I hate them people who are on there and retweeting praise and only talking about the good stuff, what's being said about them, and copy and pasting and all that. I can't take to that, and I never have. And it's just not me. You know, I don't want to go on there when you see people blowing smoke up their own arse. It does me head in. Cringe watching it, so I don't really do it, but probably need to learn more to just concentrate on the good rather than block on everyone else who's bad.
Do you know the other day, right, someone called me a packy, right, on there, so I went, I'm going to put this in a nice term, I told them to go do something to themselves, and also to go and interfere with their mother, so I'm put that in a nice term. And then people having a go at me, going, you're out of order, you shouldn't write like that. I'm like, hang on a minute. Exactly. Hang on a minute. What? So
it's the mentality. But you can't say that.
I can't say it.
By your name or because you're.
Yeah, they can call me a packy, but I can't say that.
Yeah. No, if you want to get serious, I had I had someone the other week, I was talking about that Ched Evans. Now, it's hard to put it down in Twitter in 140 characters what I was getting at. All I was saying was basically, I look at Cliff Richard now, and without putting myself into any legal bother or any, you know, liable stuff, I don't see good when I look at him. Maybe that's because he's tired. Maybe that's because he's been accused of something in the past what might be or might not be true. But I can't stand nonsense. I hate them. I've always been vocal about it. Same as Bellew, same as others. It's the worst in the world for me. It's the worst thing anyone could ever do. You take away a kid's innocence, you should hang from a rope. I've always said that. But I was talking about Ched Evans, and rape's the same. You know, you can't rape a woman. You can't force yourself on a woman in a way that she doesn't want to have sex with you, but it happens. But all I said was it should be anonymous until the verdict. If he's found guilty, spread him over every paper you want. Tar him, you know, tar him, whatever you want. You know, hang, draw, and quarter him if you want. Do what you want with him after he's been found guilty. But if that fella didn't do it, all I said was a woman could lie, a man could lie if it was if they were that way. And that fella's going to be tainted for the rest of his life with that case. And I've seen a fella who got off with an abuse case. My cousin was the barrister on it, and he didn't do it, and he got jail. He'd done 2 or 3 years jail, and he got out because the kid was lying. The lad was lying. He was a fantasist.
Well, that's his life fucked.
His life was fucked. He's labelled with that for the rest of his life. His wife had to pay all kinds of legal fees to defend him. His wife stood by him because she knew he didn't do it, and he eventually got out of jail. So I said something along the lines of Ched Evans, he should just be anonymous. Someone replied, why are you defending him? I said, well, I'm not. You know, if he's done what he's done, I hope he fucking hangs. I hope they throw the book at him. There's no place in that in my mentality. I hate them, but they're all the same. Don't think I'm defending them by any stretch of the imagination. Someone come on and put, let's see how you are if someone rapes your 2 kids.
I saw it, yeah. Disgusting.
Give me a call or something. Give me your address. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was a fake account anyway. It's been suspended now. Twitter are looking into it, and the police got involved with it because of Twitter and because I retweeted it that many times and because I mentioned the fact that I wanted to find out who it was. The police got involved with it and came to my house that night. Got in touch with me and came to my house and all that. Now, I only wanted to find out who it is, so I know who it is. But if you want my address to come to my house to try and attempt to do it, I'll give you my address. I'll leave the door open for you. You know, please come, but you're not going to. And that's not me being a hard case. You know, any fella in the country would say the same thing. Any man, whether he's boxing, football, or joining a brickie or sits in an office all day and weighs 5.5 stone, you're going to defend your kids. But it's the fact that you're just saying it just to try and go as low below the line as you can. It's just fucking disgusting. But if I said anything like that, you wouldn't hear the last of it. It's just disgusting, but you'd have to put up with that, they think, because, you know, it was out of order. And to be fair, everyone that commented on it, it was just disgusting. It's something you don't say to people, especially to try and get a rise out of them. But I just wanted to find out who it was, really, just to out them and just to know who it was. But it's back to the usual, isn't it? You know, I have this stuff on Twitter. No one comes over to me and says, like, yeah, you're a gobshite, or you're this, or you're that, or you better not get another world title fight or something. It never happens, but they say it on Twitter. You know, the people that will come over to me are always sad, they're always nice to meet you. Your brothers are doing this, all the best to you and your family. Great, lovely to meet you, see you later, mate. Thank you, appreciate it. It's never arguments, it's never people off Twitter, it's never anyone I've blocked on Twitter or anything else. I suppose that's how life is, isn't it? You just got to get on with it.
Safety behind the phone. It's opened it up now, isn't it? That's how the world is now.
Yeah,
because
and you know what? It is a good thing. Love Instagram. Keep in touch with people sort of without speaking to them. It's not a bad thing speaking to them, but sometimes you go so long without seeing someone. It's how are you? I know how they are. I know what's going on in their life because I just keep in touch with them on Instagram and vice versa. So it's a good thing. The internet and social media is a very good thing, but sometimes it's bad as well. It's hard.
All right, well listen, thank you very much, Paul Smith, for
mate.
Quite a bit of your time actually. So I think the press conference
Busy waiting for these for the press conference, aren't we?
I know. All right, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.